Hey guys, and welcome to a game which features betrayal, glory, death, destruction, and plenty of extra Nurgle juice. I'm a Rubber Duck of War, and today we're going to be showcasing a free-for-all that was actually done way back on early access between myself under the form of Khorne, kind of bringing blood to the battlefield, Inticity's Grand Cathay, Turin's mighty Nurgle legions, and Darv's sneaky Tzeentch. And they certainly live up to their sneaky tactical name here. It is quite the fun game. I'm mainly going to go over my army. We'll briefly touch on all of them, and then delve straight into the glorious conflict and carnage. I have gone for the double skull cannon gambit because we're an absolute badass here. We're looking to have quite a good time, looking to bring long-range pressure to the battlefield, a couple of units of bloodletters, as well as some chaos warriors with dual weapons in the middle, some halberds on the flank, and a load of big beasties in the middle. My god, the chaos warriors look so freaking badass charging into the heat of combat. We have one unit of spawner chaos, and then we have one unit of Minotaurs of Khorne. Minotaurs of Khorne are just insanely cool. They actually do a bucket ton of damage, look very badass. I like using them quite a bit on domination, had a lot of success there. Now I've been led by an Exalted Bloodthirster. In fact, I think almost all of us maybe went for an Exalted Lord of some degree. We've got a Bloodthirster up in the sky, looking to bring a lot of pain and havoc. On the right-hand side, we have Inticity going for big fat air core. We have a load of great Longmar riders. Double Sky Lantern up in the skies, coming in like an absolute Chad. We have the Dragon-Blooded Lord as well. And then down on the ground force, it's not too much to go, right home about. A couple of units of Jade Warriors and the scary double Terracotta Sentinel shall reign supreme. But looking to get the air core going where possible. For the forces of Tzeentch, we do have a load of the mighty Flatfish, the Screamers of Tzeentch, dotted all the way along, plus an Exalted Lord of Change of Metal up in the skies, Searing Doom, and Final Transmutation, his weapons of choice. Down on the ground, load of blue horrors, load of pink horrors, and a load of flamers. 1, 2, 3, 4 flamers. That is a lot of pain to bring. So at this point, I was like, yeah, I don't want to fight Air Force of Cathay. I got nothing to counter that at all. I don't want to fight the Air Force of Tzeentch. I'm going to go over here and become best friends with old Papa Nurgle and the mighty force of Turin. I think he had the same idea. We decided on a gentleman's duel. We shall fight and let the other air forces kind of beat each other up. We have triple Exiled Plague Bearers down on the ground, a couple of beasts of Nurgle, an Exalted Great Unclean one, and double Soul Grinders of Nurgle in the mix as well, who already launched some shots dangerously in my direction. I love the Exiled Great Unclean one model, though. He is so badass with his big bell. Look, there's a little Nurgle on there, just having a good time. He's, hello, everybody wave to the Nurglin, and he shall wave back. So that further ado, let's get this underway. I'm mainly going to be focusing on my own army here, because I know what happens, so it'll be better cast for you guys. But don't worry, all the armies will be in action. Skull cannons start lighting up some shots towards the enemy infantry. Likewise, my Bloodlet has taken considerable damage in the early game. At this point, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not getting involved in this whatsoever. The Longmar Riders and the Screamers of Tzeentch, they can fight amongst themselves. We'll have a nice little fight over here and ignore them as much as physically possible. Luckily for us, Grand Cathay isn't exactly swift on the ground game. We should be able to fight with them not being involved too much, or at least that was the idea. We do line up to meet the enemy in a big old juicy grind fight down here on the side. The Chaos Warriors of Khorne get hit pretty badly there by the Soul Grinders. I'm trying to counter shoot where possible, but the Skull Cannons, not the most accurate beasts of war, and are missing quite a few of their shots. The Exiled Bloodthirster getting nice and aggressive, and I've been a little bit sneaky with some Warhounds, moving them around the flank to get behind to the enemy formation, maybe to line up some big fat rear attacks. I'm taking a lot of damage so far, though. The Spawns, the Chaos Warriors, as well as the Bloodletters, all taking massive damage. Likewise are the Exiled Plague Bearers, though. We're getting down and dirty. We're doing some of our own work. And you can see the Exiled Great Unclean one waving his bell around, tulling the sound of death. In the far reaches of the world, Tzeentch's air force is just beating down Cathay's air force, at least having a duel there. And the Tzeentch schemes, the betrayal. Darv, the schemer, comes around with his entire ground force to flank the Nurglins and start to annihilate them, which certainly isn't a bad idea whatsoever. Bloodthirster does land down here on the ground, start beating the living snot out of a beast of Nurgle before deciding to retreat and fall back, while Bloodletters and Spawn move in to engage the enemy. Skull Cannons doing some nice long-range damage. Chaos Warriors of Halberds as well moving into hand-to-hand combat with the Minotaurs. Minotaurs looking to rip and tear into the rotten flesh of those Soul Grinders and bring back trophies to their tribe. So a nice honorable duel's going on in the middle. It's a big, fat, just juicy fight. Exiled Greater Demons fighting each other, infantry fighting each other. It's rather beautiful, but there is betrayal afoot, and the Tzeentch hordes are nearly here. The deadliest jellyfish in the land, the flamers float elegantly over towards the battle, as well as the ground force to line up some shots in the distance. The air forces are kind of fighting as the ground force of Cathay very slowly come towards the main fight. At this point, I think Turin was quite far ahead on a point. That changed very quickly as Darv just unleashes a torrent of flames into the rear of Nurgle and Khorne forces, bathing us in the holy light of Tzeentch, doing just straight disgusting amounts of damage, pouring it on there. It looks glorious. It is very painful, and my forces start to break. The Nurgle forces start to break. It is not a good time for anyone here in the middle. Soul Grinder's starting to get rather low. The Minotaurs are doing a fantastic job here in the middle, alongside my spawn. My Skull Cannons do attempt to make a rather swift retreat, and all my infantry goes down in a matter of seconds to the holy just torrent of plasma grenades, fire, everything being poured on us from Tzeentch. It is truly disgusting. Both myself and the Nurgle army pretty much wiped out there in one foul betrayal and swoop. Now, Terracotta Sentinels attempting to come to our aid. Going to start doing some pretty awesome animations as they smash into the flank of Tzeentch. Tzeentch there has already taken a massive lead at the moment. Beast of Nurgle, Exalted Plague Bearers, all trying to run for the trees, as well as the Exalted Grey and Clean one, just to get to a bit of safety. I'm also pulling back with the forces I can muster, Minotaurs, as well as Spawn and my Lord, all in hot retreat, just trying to assassinate Soul Grinders and get that value where possible, because free-for-alls are actually done the amount of damage you do, and you do get a bonus for being the last one left alive, but, you know, you need to get in there and bring the pain as much as possible. One Soul Grinder down. It looks like we are going to be able to drag down the second one as well. Our Exiled Bloodthirst has performed really well so far. I've been very impressed with the bad boy. Deathbringer has been brought to just cleave into that Soul Grinder. Got some Halberds going after the Exiled Grey and Clean one, but apart from that, we are rotating up and around, trying to do some sneaky schemes of our own. Khorne, we've learned a thing or two from Tzeentch. I'm actually trying to hit the ground forces of Cathay here before they can really get into the fight. It's got really messy here in the back for Tzeentch. They've taken quite a lot of poundings from the Terracotta Sentinels, but likewise, Terracotta Sentinels seem to be going down pretty quickly. Just the torrent of fire, pink and blue flames bring death to the enemy. We do get a lovely little explosion come down there from the Exalted Great and Clean one. Terracotta Sentinels do manage to shut down some flamers. Looks like 2 flamers will be going down, which is good news for everyone on the battlefield apart from Tzeentch. But the pink horror torrent as well as blue horrors just raining shots in, and the Terracottas can, they stand strong, but not for much longer, I don't think. Terracotta Sentinel down to just 1,400. We do our dreaded flank. It looks like the air fight has been going on for quite a while. We've not really focused on it. One Sky Lantern was able to escape. All the Longmars and other Sky Lanterns seem to be going down before the might of the Exalted Lord of Change. Just his Winds of Magic helping him be victorious there. And you can see the Cathay forces have been scattered to the wind. At this point, we knew we need to ally against Tzeentch. It was the only way for anyone to try to drag down the mighty evil terror that is Darv. And we're trying our best, although I am being a little bit sneaky, and I must admit, jumping on top of the Jade Warriors. Hey, value is value at the end of the day. Khorne doesn't mind how the blood gets spilt, as long as it gets spilt. Flamers of Tzeentch are roasting into my Minotaurs, which I'm not a big fan of, so the Exalted Bloodthirster is going to float over here and just start slapping up. Look at the team up at the Sentry. Terracotta Sentinel, as well as Exalted Bloodthirster, fighting back to back. Bros to the bitter end. No betrayal shall be done here, good sirs, as we continue to push in to take down the forces of Tzeentch. Popping a wheelie is the Skull Cannons, which have done pretty decent damage all game. They've been floating around up to no good and starting plenty of trouble in their neighborhood. Pink Horrors are moving back as the Exalted Great and Clean one does come forth actually from the forest, bringing plague and destruction alongside the Beast of Nurgle, doing massive damage here to the Pink Horrors and really overwhelming them. And it's needed. It is needed for sure, because at this moment, trust me, Tzeentch were miles ahead on the points. Unfortunately, the points don't seem to appear, unfortunately, at the moment for some reason. The Terracotta does slap me in the back a little bit. I'd like to think he's going after the Flamers, but at the same time, that kind of hurt my Exiled Bloodthirster's feelings, and he's not really about that. So I'm going to come in for the assassination upon my Cathayan ally here, which was a last-second ally, so I'm going to be looking to try to whip them into shape there. I'm going to be able to whip across the back of the Terracotta Sentinel. Hopefully, didn't feel that too much. Jade Shield does go down. Still, though, it's an Exiled Bloodthirster with Deathbringer and Bloodthirst. I think we should be okay. Double Skull Cannons just vibing, hopping around and jumping on top of Pink Horrors here. There's also some Jade Warriors in the mix fighting strong. Those shields look so cool as they appear before them, trying to drag down the Pink Horrors, and we're having a great time against all this infantry. Though we do eat a gigantic Overcast final transmutation, and that is announcing the Exalted Lord of Change's ascendancy to the battlefield. This is the first time I've seen him in action because he's been floating away for so long, and he's doing a bit of a number on all our troops. So many of our troops are getting hit by this. It looks like the Dragon that Blooded Lord is going to go down. I'm attempting to rip the skull and bones from this Exiled Lord of Change and show them as a trophy to the rest of the hordes to show Khorne dominance there. Terracotta Sentinel with some awesome animation, so I'm like, peace out, buddy. I'm going to use my Skull Cannons and move over here for a lovely slow motion shot as I run over Pink Horrors and Jade Warriors alike, as my Bloodthirster and Exalted Demon chases down the weaker and far more inferior beautiful duck, although it is a duck, so hey, I'm kind of on his side at the same time, right? The Exalted Bloodthirster does have Horn of Corn popped in right now, increasing my melee attack by 24, and we're really laying it thick into this Exalted Lord of Change, who is going to be running away as quickly as possible. Seems like we're going to be dropping a beam on the Sky Lantern as well, possibly. Oh no, Tzeentch is going to be dropping a beam on them. There we go. And it didn't seem to do any damage, kind of floated through the glorious balloon there. And the Exalted Lord of Change is free real estate, the Sky Lantern. It can't protect itself in the sky, just going up there trying to get some points. Down on the ground, Chaos Warriors are engaged with some Jade Warriors, who do currently have their Harmony popped, which is good news for them. In comes the rather angry Exalted Great Unclean One with his beast. The Nurgle have been hiding for a long time, just banging that bell on the ground, bringing death wherever it goes. And that has been enough to break off my Chaos Warriors. Jade Warriors now shall be ripe for the taking. Up in the skies, I do actually beat back the Exalted Lord of Change, just drive him away, so I can get the free real estate instead of the Sky Lantern, and then come down for the assassination pick as well. The Skull Cannons moving forward, running over troops. We have Jade Warriors mixed with Terracotta Sentinels moving in from the back. Is there anything that can come back in the distance? We have a Dragon-Blooded Lord, as well as some great Longmar Riders. And hidden in the trees, I have a unit of Chaos Warriors of Halberds. 6-8 models isn't too bad, and we are on the way back. We do take down the Gigantic Duck, which betrayed us all, and that's a free-for-all once more. He was dragged down by the combined might of all three forces. Great Unclean One, Terracotta Sentinel, and my badass Lord, who's been in such a shift so far as he flies up into the skies and gets shot in the back of the dome by that Sky Lantern. So he's not too happy about that, and I'm going to start whipping it. That seems what most of his problems get solved by just whipping them and hitting them with a big axe. And it looks like the Sky Lantern is indeed going to be going down. It's terrified, and I do not blame it. Skull Cannons doing some hit and run tactics, trying to get some ammunition here in the middle as just all these large single entities duke it out as they swing their weapons back and forth. Looks like I'm getting teamed up on a little bit here, but my Skull Cannon does seem to be quite a big threat in the distance. The balloon falls, and my Exalted Bloodthirster can now join the party and smack into the back of that Terracotta as another Skull Cannon bursts into life. And we have Halberds coming in as well, so we're certainly not out this fight just yet. I believe we were second on points at the moment, trying to catch up as quickly as possible, and Turin was gaining quite quickly as well with his Nurgle forces. Skull Cannon pops a shot into the enemy and instantly regrets it. I say regrets it, pops a wheelie and charges into combat. Not going to be great for our HP though, and we are going to be falling back as quickly as possible. Terracotta Sentinel falls. The little beast of Nurgle is not looking too good either, and all of a sudden, perhaps there's a chance for me to get that last man standing bonus and get back into the game. Skull Cannon is popping around, going to be firing into the rear here of the Exalted Great Unclean One, and it's quite a scrap. Our Lord is a lot better duelist than theirs, so we should hopefully have a decent time there. We also have Halberds in here. That looks like we are going to be getting infected by the Blight Swarm. Lowering our melee defense by 20 is certainly no joke. However, we're getting those nice shots into the Exalted Great Unclean One, doing massive damage, but then he pops the heal on himself, and that is going to be very devastating stuff indeed. We are doing fire damage, of course, which is going to be negating quite a lot of that healing, which is pretty useful for us. I love that change that they brought into the game. And we're going to Pound Town. We're doing decent work. Ourselves are looking a little bit beat up as well. Exalted Great Unclean One certainly will go down, though. His HP isn't that much, but then the dreaded Fleshy Abundance goes down. That's like a really powerful version of Regrowth. As you can see, pestilence and disease popping in all different directions. That's going to mean probably that we're not going to be able to get victory here, because that is such a nasty heal. Look how much HP he gets in such a quick, short time frame. Skull Cannons are going down. We have one left. There are some brave Jade Warriors. I don't know what they're fighting for anymore, but they're just fighting for the sake of fighting because they don't know what else to do. Are going to start moving in. We have Longmar Riders as well, trying to shout words of encouragement and drag them back into the action. Halberds are vibing on the side. They're winded, not really too interested in the fight anymore, and I do not blame them, as our Exiled Bloodthirster gets teamed up on their 2v1. He's done a lot of damage, but nothing can stop the might of the Exalted Great Unclean One, and he's just going to town right now, my Bloodthirster, really being a menace in the night. And down our beautiful baby boy goes. Though he does go out in a pretty cool style there, breathing fire, and he's ripped back into the warp. I'm sure he'll be back for revenge at some point, and Khorne certainly knows a thing or two about vengeance. Down here in the middle, we do see the might of heaven and earth come down from the mighty forces of Grand Cathay. I don't think it's going to make too much difference here. This Great Unclean One is simply too powerful, destroying all in his path. I'm doing a decent amount of damage to him with our Skull Cannon. You can see some big work was done, but with those hills, it was simply too much. But Tzeentch, though they were out of the action before any other race, got so much damage done, they were able to reign supreme. And we can now see the scores on the screen once we load out of the game. Nighty Darth with the Exalted Lord of Change did come top with a dominant 17,000 damage points. Really lovely stuff. We managed to sneak second with 12,184. Turin with the mighty Nurgle a third with 12,000 again. But 62 points, getting that nice bonus from being the last man standing. Unfortunately, Tisti kind of got betrayed. His ground forces were too slow, and his air forces got jumped by Darvs. Coming in still with an impressive 10k, though. That's certainly not too bad, considering how long it took him to get there. Kills-wise, though, we were one of the bottom. We went after the single entities more, and yeah, Nurgle certainly stood in there. Despite the betrayal of Tzeentch, despite the flamers to the back of the dome, they managed to come back, and come back strong. So well played to all these lads. It's really good fun. I think this was actually done on Turns live stream and during early access, so it's quite an old replay. But boy, oh boy, it was an absolute blast. And hopefully I can do some more of them in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you would like to see, I will go through damage value in a second, by the way. But if you guys would like to see more like free-for-alls and 2v2s and 3v3s and stuff on the channel, let me know in the comment section down below. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment. Basically, all those free friends massively help. We're getting quite close to 10,000 subscribers, so that is my next current goal. There's also a load of links in the description. You can submit replays to me via my Discord and get involved in live streams and stuff that I host down there. I've got Patreon down below. I have Twitch down below. Load of awesome stuff indeed. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I know we did a decent number. I mean, the Exalted Bloodthirster, 4,666 gold value isn't shabby. It is not the most powerful out of all the lords. Let you guess now, which lord got the most damage value in the game? Well, our guy certainly didn't do too bad. 800 value on the Minotaurs. The Skull Cannon's actually pretty decent. 57 and 67 kills, 1.7 and 1.3k value there. Any other standouts? I don't think so. It kind of got roasted and destroyed early on. As for the Exalted Lord of Change, he managed to get 4,060 value. So not quite ours, but again, quite high up there. 1.6k, 1.1k, 1.6k, nearly 1.7 there, and 900 value from the Flamers. They really did turn the tide, as well as all these Screamers doing a decent job. The highlight being 1,278 gold value. Horrors just shy of 1,000 damage value on most of them. The blue horrors did a little bit less, but I do love the schemes of like, hey, yeah, I'm definitely going to go fight Cathay, guys. It's going to be okay. And then bam, just obliterating both mine and the Nurgle forces in the rear. The Exalted Grey and Clean one did manage to get 5,674 gold value. It is absurd with 288 kills. 39,850 damage dealt. A supreme master of the dark arts. Beast of Nurgle, 470 and 100 value, 700 and 600 from the Soul Grinders. Basically nothing got anywhere near paying for itself apart from that bad boy, but he carried the squad hard. As for the forces of the Mighty Ent himself and the Grand Cathay Alliance, Dragon-Blooded Lord, 1,064 gold value, so the worst out of all the lords, unfortunately, but not expected to be the heaviest hitter. 660 and 1,165 gold there on the Terracotta Sentinels. Great Long Mars, 470, 1,390, and 865 value. The Sky Lanterns at 970 and 140 value, and the Jade Warriors just kind of getting gooned out there a little bit. So I believe the Mighty Exalted Great Unclean one was the biggest damage dealer, followed by 4,666 by us, and then the Exalted Lord of Change, and then the Dragon-Blooded Lord. But really good fun game all round. Hope you guys enjoyed. It was madness in its most beautiful form. Until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.